How would you feel?
Invincible.
Really? That made you cry? Yeah, I was crying.
Yeah.
I guess I was die laughing. So I was
I,
crying.
I, I was crying during the last
when
one.
he's ground beefed on the cliff.
I was fucking dweeb. Oh, we're recording. And welcome on to the Speakeasy podcast. We are back at a brand new episode. I am Daryl.
And I'm Phil.
I'm Basar. What's good?
Basara's back on the podcast. Let's get it. You know that we're getting sued. Let's go.
Heck yeah.
So this episode, okay. So we'll do a little preview of next episode. It's gonna be a very controversial debate. So we'll leave that for next episode. But today we'll talk about something nice and light. We'll talk about how TV shows basically have evolved from its original, I guess, formatting, and how it has a more grandiose type of presentation style and more cinematic,
Right.
if you will, higher budget.
Something I wanted to mention about TV is there's something really comforting about it. There's always been a sense that television is comfort. And I think that dates all the way back to the 50s and the 60s when, husband comes home from work, wife is there, and he sits down in front of the TV. And it started like a kind of trope. And I think that was part of the selling point, the marketing of television. And thus, I think early television shows from those decades reflect that because they appeal to a more conservative lifestyle. If you look at like 50s sitcoms, right? Those black and white sitcoms.
Yeah.
It's very much, hello, I am husband. I come back home to my wife and kids.
Mr. Rogers.
Right.
A beautiful day in the neighborhood.
Yeah. So I feel like television has kind of this mythical, like, food for the soul type of thing where it's comfort.
Do you guys believe? Well, I'm sure you guys believe this, but how much of an impact do you think television has in terms of education, in terms of like learning basic understanding of how the world works? And
I would say enormous. It can't be overstated because the thing is, to many people, television can be also your only exposure to American culture or to the
different
dominating culture.
Yeah.
I learned English from TV, man. Like from growing up, I grew up like having trouble pronouncing certain words while I was like still in elementary school. And as soon as I got into like watching all my favorite shows and stuff, and I picked up like words that I should have learned like years ahead, and I picked it up.
Me too.
You
watch a Michael Bay film. Trust me, you'll learn a lot of words.
But hey, man, to be fair, my mom watched what I watched, so she didn't let me watch all the violent stuff when I was
monitored.
Up,
it's monitored.
Yeah. You know when they say parental advisory, that's me. That's my mom walking in on me checking. That's the parental advisory.
It's parental advisory. My mom is like, "Yo, mom not here. All right, let's watch this real quick."
We used to do that with the horror movies.
Yeah,
we used to do that with the horror movies. Like you horror movies, like you turn off all the lights, like you're just watching the movie and stuff, and you try to scare your friend. That's the kind of stuff, Oh, yeah.
I remember.
I miss that.
Late nights where my mom would be like, all right, it's late, you gotta go to bed. And then my dad would sneak into the room and be like, all right, she gone? All right, let's watch some Simpsons. Let's watch some South Park. Let's watch some Futurama.
Family Guy, yo, that's dark.
Yeah.
That's dark.
I'd watch that with my dad, man. It was such a good time.
Oh my God.
I have a lot of love for those late night shows.
To be fair, I argue that television is actually better at educating kids than actual school. Because I don't. For me, I learned a lot. Like
at educating, I agree.
Well, the thing is, I learned a lot like about morals and about how the difference between right and wrong, and how how the world is not really black and white. It's very much sort of gray-ish most of the time, and towards TV shows, and how ultimately bad guys aren't really bad guys. They have they see themselves as good guys.
Is there ever really a person who tells himself in the morning, I'm the bad guy?
Doc Ock.
Wake up like that?
The only person that would say that is a Joker, man.
Or Daryl.
Yo, Doc Ock wakes up in the morning. I got my suit on. I got my hands.
My tentacles.
Where's my super suit?
Where's my super villain suit? Where my super villain suit at?
Where's my super villain suit?
Do you think anyone in the world thinks to themselves, I am a supervillain?
Bro, there's a bunch of people that love being supervillains, bro.
You know-
I saw a kid walking with the head of Optimus Prime like this, and he's like wearing like the Decepticon logo, and he's
logo,
like,
yeah.
yeah.
Do you know how like
Glass kid, bro.
there was a meme about Jeff Bezos being Lex Luthor.
Yeah, he is Lex Luthor.
how he bought the yacht, his super yacht, and he's
Bro.
bald. And
I bet you, bro, they wouldn't have done that if the guy had hair. I bet you, bro, they wouldn't have done that if the guy had hair.
I mean, he had
He's doing
hair
that
when
just because he's bald, bro.
he had hair when he
And
first
he's
started.
super rich
Yeah, he's number 2 now, number 2 richest man in the world.
because of divorce.
Divorce paper, yeah. Fucking,
Bro, could you imagine getting bumped up? It's sitting with your wife, you're like, yo, bro, you know, man, being the divorce thing, not a good idea. We go from the number 1 spot to the
number
second
2,
bro.
number 2.
You know what I mean?
Imagine like on the dinner table, like I'm gonna fucking screw your life up. You're gonna be number 2 now.
Dude, even Bill Gates. Yo, did you guys hear Bill Gates also split with his wife? Damn.
Yeah. I mean, most billionaires kind of like have their own like egocentric world, so they don't really care.
It's
much
hard for
about
them to relate to human beings. So relationships are difficult, obviously, right?
And also because
I could imagine though, because like the image that they portray when they're on live camera
it's different.
is completely different on what's
course.
going on from inside the house.
Yeah.
Like I can't even imagine like the shock to the kids. I always think about the kids when I see things like this. I'm like, God damn, like two big ass pillars that hold their world is slowly going opposite directions.
Yeah.
Tectonic plates.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's an earthquake, yeah.
I always sympathize
I think
with
most
people that are going through that.
a lot of celebrities have that in common, where it's like they have this sort of persona that everyone sort of sees them as like the perfect couple, and like, ooh,
Right.
hashtag this, hashtag that, and then like
That's the problem with parasocial relationships, like internet celebrities or just celebrities in general. They're people you don't actually know, but you are sold an image, and it's not to. I'm not saying this to insult these people. In fact, they're not responsible for this. It's marketing, and it's just the fact that there is so much distance between you and this person.
Yeah.
But you idolize them, and they're presented to you in a perfect light, in one dimension of them, right?
Yeah.
Like
You
Kim
only
and
know them,
Kanye.
you know.
Yeah, Kim and Kanye, for example, is a good example.
Yeah.
where-
Kim and
So, of
Kanye is
course,
like the
you make up
perfect
your own
example.
ideas. You know, like one thing that I find bizarre is shipping celebrities.
Yeah.
I find it very bizarre because they're
Oh.
real people, and often one of the two celebrities has a husband or wife.
Well,
It
that's the
is
thing.
very bizarre
It's
when
ki- it's
you
kinda-
ship castmates.
Well, it's kind of the same idea when you watch like a TV show and then you ship two characters together.
Yeah, exactly. That's where it
ultimately-
comes from.
Yeah,
But the
ultimately, like,
application to real people,
yeah, because
I
you
find
don't really see them as real people. You see them as celebrities, so they sound like
Exactly.
characters. So
they're
it's like-
not human. It's
They're pedestal
dehumanizing
people.
in a sense. So I understand for them the extreme pressure they must go through.
Yeah.
All of
Mhm.
these television and movie stars, they aren't seen as people. That's why every time that someone is like, "Oh, I met so and so, but he was an asshole." Well,
Yeah.
they're under a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
You know, it's
Do you-
complicated.
I've a question for both of you. Do you guys like say you have the option of getting fortune and fame? Oh, well, not fortune. Everyone's gonna say yes to fortune, but say like, do you guys care much about the fame in terms of like, say for example, you make a movie or a song, you become a celebrity, whatever, and you become really famous, and like tabloids hit you up everywhere and stuff. Like, do you strive for that, or are you just more sort of like for me personally, I don't like fame. I like being inconspicuous, like not being in the limelight.
Come on, bro. You don't want to be known as the realist? Get
No.
out of here.
No, I want to be known as a realist. I want to be known as a realist around my friends and like the people who know me well. But the ones
Right.
outside, I don't like.
Mm.
I have nothing to prove to people. So like,
Yeah.
I also, because I feel that when everyone sort of has eyes on you, it sort of to get in the way of what you're trying to strive for.
Right.
Mhm.
Everyone has an opinion now. You're like, oh, you shouldn't do that because it won't work. And then you're like, oh, it did because they just did it.
I
And then-
totally relate to that because I always thought that fortune and establishing your own riches and finding your chunk of money in life is
Yeah.
more important than being known for it. I don't want to be known for it. I'd rather be rich and be low key about it. to be honest.
Humble man.
Yeah. I mean, I try to be. I try to be. Like I try to like. I'd rather not brag about me buying a nice car, for example.
Yeah.
Like, could you imagine like one day, like you have a decent job, you're making good pay, and one day you're like, you know what, I want to buy a brand new car.
Yeah.
You get yourself a Supra, bro, and you just zoom around. Just zoom around with a 2021 Supra, bro, and you pick up your friends and you show off your car. Yeah, I don't mind showing off my nice car to my friends. My close friends, it's fine. But like,
sure. I'll go a step further in the sense to say that I don't know if a fortune or riches really appeal to me either. Fame is a scary thing to me. It seems like
it's extra pressure.
Said, it dehumanizes you. It makes you unable to empathize or sympathize with other people because you're living very different lives, right, from them. And then they perceive you not as a person, but as an icon or as a symbol or as whatever they see you as is what you are. Despite that you're a multifaceted being, they don't see you as that. They can't.
Yeah, they see one.
They don't actually know you, right? So I don't want fame. I really don't. And
I don't want it either. I agree.
Fortune either, because I think fortune also dehumanizes you, or eventually it skews your view of the world, where you can't really completely understand the struggle.
But here's the thing. Here's the thing. Money doesn't make you numb towards understanding what people are going through. Money only
but
enhances.
Fortune is dangerous, I think.
It could be dangerous if it falls in the wrong hands. For example, like if you take all the for example, you win. Let's just say we'll put it in a scenario. Okay, let's just say that each of us had a chance to win like 100 mil in the lotto. Okay, $100 million is a lot of money. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That could set you up for generations, right? You don't need to work. You don't need to do nothing. You're set. However, people that have like bad intentions from within, like they're not good people from within, it's just gonna manifest with power that they receive with money. But if people are actually good, like their intentions are good, they care about others, they donate to the homeless, they help feed the poor, like people that actually like feel like Phil like mentioned, people that actually feel what others feel, you'll put the money into good use too, bro. Like it's you have to trust. Here's the thing, you have to trust your character, Phil. Like you gotta be able to be like, no matter
Phil, you gotta trust your character.
You gotta trust your character. It all comes down to that, You have to believe that even with X amount of money, you'll still be the Phil that everybody knows.
I feel like for me, for me, fortune is a tool. Money for me is a tool. It's not
it's a tool. It could be used for good and bad.
But the thing is about fame for me is like why I disassociate fame and fortune is because fortune ultimately just it's honestly you could do much more with it, because fortune ultimately it's like it's depending on the currency. Like if you talk about fortune back in the day, it's not money, it's more sort of like trades and like actual like goods and stuff, whereas today it's more bills and all that stuff. But like for me, fame is very much like this false idea of admiration that people have for themselves. Like, oh look, it's like a insecure sense of validation. It's kind of like, oh, because I have so many followers, I am important. You aren't because you have no followers.
There's always been famous people.
Yeah.
But why are they famous? What do they do with fame? That has probably radically changed.
The Kardashians.
Yeah.
The concept of influencers who are basically walking ads.
Yeah, exactly.
I died when like Kim's daughter asked her own mom, why are we famous? Why
that's a good question.
That's a good question.
Oh boy.
We got a TV show. We got a TV show. God damn.
But, what I think is the danger of fortune actually is more relating to not just what it does to you, it's what happens to you when it affects the people around you. Because once you get the fortune, right, a lot of people around you are
going to start acting real different. Yep.
Yeah, that's what I'm afraid of. And I'm afraid of what that in return does to me.
But
Well,
the
I mean,
thing is, there's certain people that turn like that. It's not everybody. Phil, you
yeah,
gotta understand this. Like
I'm not.
people,
I
man,
agree.
and-
the real,
Not everyone, but
but in
I
a
don't
sense-
want to see my close ones be affected by this.
yeah, but in a
they
sense,
won't.
it's kind
If
of
they
like
if they were real ones, they
yeah,
won't.
in a sense, it's kind of like a
there
truth
are
serum.
good people that can still be corrupted by the influence of money. People who are in need, who see this wealth and would jump at it with the
But
opportunity.
I
It's not
tell you
because
what
they're
though.
bad people.
I'll
It's just
tell you
that
what though.
They're desperate.
If it's not, no, it's just because they're greedy. They want to get their hands on something. Here's the thing. For example, let's just say that one of us like wins the 100 mil. Let's just say Daryl wins it. Let's
Yo,
just say like
I'm going to
Daryl
an
went to
island. You're never seeing me again, motherfuckers.
see, I know that he's gonna do that. I know he's gonna, bro. If he wins that lotto ticket, this dude is gone. He's gonna be on the first flight ticket to
Mars.
I'm
to the
going to Mars,
Cancun, bro.
I'm going to Mars. I don't care about y'all. Yeah,
Cancun
But-
and Mars.
But here's the thing: like, even if Daryl wins 100 mil tomorrow, I'm still gonna treat him the same as if he didn't win 100 mil. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't matter, bro. Like, it's good fortune. Like, I'll tell him like, hey, bro, like, congrats on the money, bro. Hope you live well. Best of wishes, bro. That's it. Like, I'm not gonna be like, yo, bro, like that Beamer looks nice.
Buy me one. Now, the way I
But
see
yeah,
it,
bro. Be like, what
the
the
way I see it though is like the people who there's always gonna be people around you that need help, regardless of you have
Yeah.
fortune or not. They're
Mm,
always gonna ask you if, to help you or not. So ultimately, having money is kind of the same thing as like, oh, can you help me like carry this and like move, for example? You know what I mean? Like,
Mhm.
can you
Yeah,
lend me a hand?
but
So-
to not sound too cliche, with more power comes more responsibility.
Exactly.
You will be the
Peter
top
Parker.
dog if you get
Peter
rich.
Parker.
Right?
Yeah.
If
But-
you get rich, you're the top dog. You're
Yeah.
the one who provides. Everyone around you will look to you and expect you to give more.
Yeah,
to
but
be
but
more.
but ultimately you have to have enough respect for yourself and the others.
To say no,
No, well,
Of course.
to ultimately manage how you give them. Like, you won't give someone $1 million because they want to fix a car. Like, that's not reasonable. Ultimately,
Right.
giving them
But-
what they need, not what they want, is what
Like,
how
for example, like
But-
if you know a friend that's struggling with rent, for example, and you have 100 bill, I'd buy, yo, if he's a close
Yeah.
friend of mine and he's been good to me, bro, like, I'd buy him a house, bro,
but
and he'd
here's the
be
thing.
rent free for the rest of his life. That's a gift, and that's
But
something.
if
that
I
you can help
had the
him with.
mill, if I got the money, I'd get rid of it instantly. I'd give it to everyone I can think of that needs it more than me, because I don't want to deal with this whole sum of cash or
Well,
whatever. it
yeah,
is
but
in my
because you don't
life.
want it just sitting in the bank.
yeah, but
right.
that's still, see that if you got that fortune, you get to choose who you give it to.
yeah.
So ultimately, you are doing good. It's not like oh, say Bezos has it. He's not gonna choose to give it to you. At least you know yourself enough to that you're
Mhm.
gonna do that. So
Yeah.
having that fortune gives you the choice of actually
I'd
helping
rather
the
everyone
ones-
have it in the first place.
Yeah,
not
exactly.
have to struggle for scraps than have to go through me.
Yeah, but
You
no,
know
but the
what?
thing is,
You know
but the
what?
thing
Odds
is,
are I'm not gonna win it.
but the thing is, not everyone is lucky enough to get it, right?
Yeah.
So ultimately, like the ones who do get it, who are lucky enough to manage to achieve success and get the
Yeah.
fortune that they seek to have, they have a choice to either make it sort of you gift the ones who truly deserve it, who truly need it, or you could choose the route of like, oh, I'm gonna keep all this shit to me because I want to buy a Lamborghini, or in between, there's like the in between
Yeah,
part
yeah,
where
yeah.
they like sort of they do both, but like
Though
you have a choice ultimately.
Right, but for the sake of what we were discussing, I was rather referring to I would not want to live with a large sum of money.
Yeah.
Like I don't have any issue with someone obtaining a lot of money, depending on what they do with it after,
Well, yeah, but
right? But that
I
is
would
not
have bought
up
all
to
the
me.
Tesla stocks.
Well, more, it's more the idea of acquiring the actual fame and the fortune to begin with.
Mhm.
It's not like ultimately it's like saying once you have achieved a certain level of success, you're going to obtain these two things, and
Right.
with those two things, you get to decide what you do with it, and ultimately that's your decision.
Right. Though what I would say is still I would maintain that those aren't goals for me.
No,
either.
yeah. I'm saying that they're not goals; they're just more like they're stepping
And
stones.
I don't think I'd be particularly happy with either one of them.
Yeah,
All
I mean,
right.
I think a lot of
so Phil would not like to have the money, so I would be a good recipient.
Oh, I will I will be I'll be volunteering to get this lump sum. of
Yeah,
money.
I volunteer. I volunteer.
Fair enough.
But yeah, I know why Phil is saying this. I completely understand why I know where he's coming from. While him saying like I'd rather not have it because like it could be used in better ways that I could have used it, and it's a commendable thing to say. It's very good.
Well,
But the whole thing was us saying, okay, if you stumble across a fortune because you don't
Right.
plan it, because
Right,
the
you
thing,
don't choose.
you don't
to become
exactly you
rich.
don't plan it because if
No one
listen
chooses.
if fate decided that your name is on $100 million fortune, bro, it's yours. You know what I mean? It's not like
Yeah.
you can't refuse it, but you're just gonna be like the biggest guy. But like, what the fuck? But yeah,
no, I have enough power to say no.
bro, I know. I was like, shit.
Watch
that's
me.
bragging rights to its like its finest. It's like, yo, I
Watch
gave
me.
I gave you that money.
That's
I
true.
said no, so you should thank me for your success.
You can fairly like rest easy for the rest of your life knowing that.
Hey, speaking of the Kardashians, if there was a show, a TV show, that you would want to sort of be on as yourself,
Right. So we're
like
talking about like
fiction.
live TV or
No, I'm talking fiction. It's like fiction because live TV is kind of like it's easy. You'd be like, oh, I want
not fiction.
yeah, nonfiction. Oh, so I was talking about more fiction, like sort of like say the Arrowverse or the Flash, or whatever.
Okay, so
We are talking about fiction. Yeah. So in a
Okay, so
fictional
actually
show, in a fictional show, you play yourself. What show would it be? What show
playing
would it be?
myself.
So like you have no powers, you're just Phil, but you get to see these events happen, if you will.
Right. So
The one that has the less destruction.
yeah, I'll be on Baywatch.
Oh
Yo.
shit! That's stress, man. That's stress.
That's too much stress, bro.
You're gonna end up.
joking.
You'll be one of the victims that end up like drowning or some shit, and be like,
Yeah,
Bro, you're gonna be the ones that
Pamela
get picked
Anderson
up by,
walking about.
Yeah.
bro.
No,
You're the one that's gonna get picked up by Zac Efron, bro. You don't want to be that.
No,
Oh no, I mean the old TV series
Yeah,
with
they give you
David
a-
Hasselhoff, man.
They
That
give you
guy.
they give you a rock bottom real quick.
Pamela Anderson, man.
Pamela Anderson. But I was thinking for me maybe the 100.
100. Whoa.
Because ultimately it's an interesting concept where you basically you go back to Earth with 100.
Oh,
100
I
people.
know.
Wait,
Twin Peaks.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
interesting.
I think for me would be 22 Jump Street. Like I
Shit.
I love like comedy shows. Like I'd like to see funny shit, man. Like I'd rather be in the background and see some funny stuff, man. Like for example, like my name is Jeff. My name is Jeff. If I was one of the goons in the back just holding my shit like this, like I would have died, bro. I would have laughed my ass off. Bro.
Yeah. Yeah. Or would you imagine being in like the Arrowverse and then you end up crossing paths with Damien Dark or some shit and you get
Oh my
fucking.
gosh.
You will
Imagine
die.
being one of those random side people that get wiped out when Barry goes through time.
Oh yeah. Actually, maybe a show where like the Vampire Diaries, I become a vampire.
Mm-hmm.
Be a random guy whose neck gets bitten.
Neck is bitten like wide open and fucking
Nice.
desolate.
In the middle of the battlefield, you see that one guy just get thrown away.
That's you.
I barely started.
You want to know?
I just got
I have
cast.
an opposite choice.
The what? Sorry.
I have an opposite choice. One where I absolutely never want to be that guy. I never want to have to play an extra in The Walking Dead.
Oh yo.
No.
No,
I don't want to play
the worst.
a zombie with plenty of makeup. That looks exhausting.
I know, bro. And there's like thousands of them already casted, bro. Like,
Yeah, and they have to
damn.
like make up them for like 4 to 6 hours before the shoot, and then you have to stay like that all day for multiple days.
Yeah.
Terrible.
Or you could be like a cast in the MCU.
Oh yeah, a guy who gets blown up in the city.
No, I'll be the one guy that I'm one of Thor's
rather-
Thor's
yeah.
was it Banner Man
Yeah, push.
Right.
and I'll steal something from the the storage. I'll steal one of the blades of Asgard or some shit.
I'll I'll make sure that I'm like in one of the voices for Invincible when all the
Oh.
city collapses.
God damn. That show is dark.
Yeah, I think I've probably never seen a show that goes that far while still being somewhat tasteful, because it
Mhm.
still makes you understand the cost of human life, right?
Yeah.
But
Did,
it's
did,
so
did you watch? Sorry, did you watch Invincible?
Yeah, I've seen it. It's a good show. I like it.
The anime show of.
It's very violent, but starting from episode 1, everybody just get
incredibly,
wiped
yeah.
out.
So I assume you've seen all 8 of them, right?
Yeah, I've seen the whole thing.
Okay, perfect. So yeah, I would say that it is the most glorious, the most violent show I've ever seen that is also tasteful. Because more than that, without having like the care for like random bystanders, it would just be, excess, right? It would just be like people blowing up, whatever. But
Mhm.
in that show, it's so incessantly gruesome, yet you feel the weight.
Mhm.
I do enjoy when Omni-Man fucking pulverizes the
The
Invincible.
whole league, man.
No,
Everybody.
he fucking takes his own son and he
Big spoilers for Invincible, by the way.
Oh
Go
yeah,
watch it.
big spoiler. Yeah, when he takes his son and he rams
Go
on the
watch it.
train. That shit's fuck. Yeah, I was
Watch it with your
crying.
dad. Watch it with your
Yeah,
dad.
I was dying laughing, bro. Hey, yo,
Everybody's getting chopped off in half, bros, because the guy's just there.
Incredible.
Oh,
Yeah, the train
Yeah.
scene is burned in my mind.
I don't know why, but there's something funny about that scene. It's just so unexpected. It was just like
There's
it was like, what the
something
fuck?
like there's one thing you could tell. The guy who wrote Invincible is also the same guy who wrote The Walking Dead, right?
Yeah.
So he has a very clear style where it's so almost over the top, or the border between,
It's
believable.
grotesque.
Yeah, it's grotesque, and
Mhm.
it almost makes you laugh out of incredulity and almost like,
Because he comes out of fucking nowhere. You're like, what the fuck's going on?
yeah,
No,
He
but
just
it's
yeets-
just so much violence, yo.
Like he puts his hand, he puts his son through and the train's path, and they will just see everyone get decimated, bro. I'm like, oh
Just
shit!
getting chopped in half, bro. Just because the guy is there, bro.
And then it's like going,
And he had him witness it.
it's so traumatizing. He made him the
Oh.
weapon.
But he's trying to. I
That's
think the
so-
author was trying to prove a point. Like he's
Yeah.
he's seen all like the movies that's already been released. They don't really like care about civilians
Yeah,
that
they
much. I don't see, and they really wanted to like sink in. I'm like, hey, don't forget about the people that walk on the ground
everyday
floor.
people.
Yeah, because these are the people that get the rocks on their heads.
That's
you know what I'm
why-
saying?
I agree. It's very ingenious. The very first scene from the first episode is just 2 bystanders having a conversation, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
And after that, every beginning of episode is just these random people talking, and it kind of ingrains you in the everyday people, right?
Yeah.
And it builds up to that climax where tons of people just get incessantly killed. And it's so brutal. You know, like
Mercilessly.
the lady holding his hand.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
And then the whole building falls
That
on.
was
no.
too much.
Oh,
And
I
felt
knew that
that.
was gonna happen. I knew it. But I've watched enough horror movies.
You know
I've
why
watched-
you knew it? Because the show trained you to know that in this world, the bystanders don't live. You know, the show really creates this ambiance the whole time, right?
Yo, but when my man Omni-Man said, I can make another one, I was like, yo, this guy's a savage.
Oh,
This guy's a
as he's
savage.
punching his own kid with his bare fist, he
Yeah.
says, "What? 17 more years?" And he kept wailing on him.
That is so painful. You know what's crazy is that he's
That's
basically committed a kind of genocide, right, in a huge populated city. But what hurts almost as much is realizing that this is a father beating his son, both physically, and he's just wailing on him with all the things he says that are so
But he realized
hurtful
at the end. That's
to
why he
hear
flew
from
away.
a father, right?
He
What I
realized.
find, what I
at the
find
end.
interesting is the same actor that got decimated by Negan plays the same plays was it Mark
Yeah.
You know that guy who got his
Really?
face yeah, the guy got his
No.
face clobbered by
Yeah,
Negan.
he's
He's the same character.
yeah,
I'm like,
he's a favorite of that author, I
I
guess.
was like, yo, he loves to just his face got
He
fucked
loves
up.
getting this guy beat up. And
Oh.
man, that last speech that Omni-Man gives, the infamous "Think, Mark, think."
Oh,
Yo, that shit went viral, bro. By the way, that shit
Yeah.
went viral.
Yeah, it's hilarious, but it's also like really hard hitting. And then Mark's answer is very like
It's
moving.
touching,
Yeah,
and it made him realize, like, oh man, I just be my own kid, bro.
that's why he
or
just
what?
flies
Yeah,
off without a
he
word,
flies away.
and he cries, but he can't show it.
it's for you, Dad. Fuck out of here with that shit, bitch.
Bro.
You know, after all that gore and bloodshed, you could look at the camera and say, "This is a show about fatherhood."
Yeah, this is a show about beat your kids. Beat
about
your kids,
family.
bro. Beat your kids. Well, beat your kids. You gonna learn.
That costed like 502 bystanders.
More.
No,
No,
more.
It's
Oh shit, true, more.
Moral
When
of
the aliens invaded,
Yo,
start shooting
yeah.
people. Yeah,
moral of
it's
the
true.
story is that the bystanders will always respawn. So just fuck it.
Daryl would low key side with Omni-Man. He'd be like, "Yeah,
Omni-Man is not bad, to be honest. He was
Bro.
conditioned. He's conditioned. Yo, if you compare them to the rest of
Daryl, you're supposed to protect our houses. You're just
Yo,
gonna go through
Daryl.
them.
Yo, if you compare, check it. If you compare Omni-Man to like Conquest or what's the other guy's name? The other Voltronian. What's his name?
Viltrumites."
Viltrumites. Yeah.
Viltrumites, yeah.
Yeah, he's the nicest one.
Yeah,
He's the nicest one. So,
he is the nicest
But
one.
in comparison of like pure evil, and then you have
Right.
this dude who basically like found compassion in the end and fuck off and not kill his son. Like
Right.
to my eyes, Omni-Man is the great guy. He's a good guy.
I mean, he did
I-
call his wife a pet, bro. Like that hit me hard,
But
bro.
because,
Like,
yeah,
one of his
because from
kid,
his
man. Like,
perspective,
Yeah, because he's
he's
bro.
so old.
yeah.
It's like how we see dogs. We're
Oh.
like, they don't live long and they're a bit dumb.
Like to be fair,
No.
like if like a mosquito will think that we're fucking evil, man. Because every single time we see one, we just smack the shit out of it. You know what I mean?
He should have just stayed. Like, why would he have a
I
kid?
think the thing
Like,
is,
why would he
while I
have a kid?
disagree with Daryl that I would never side with Omni-Man, I completely understand.
I can never side
him.
with Omni-Man, bro. He did this to himself, bro. He's the one that married. He's the one that had kid, bro. He
But he
chose
had
this.
to.
He chose this life.
No, he didn't. He was raised in that society.
Yeah, he was
He's
forced. He was,
brainwashed. And
and also he was also forced to because the whole idea was that he was gonna rid every single planet, I think, of the weak ones. I think that was their whole idea. And then
No, but
basically-
the whole thing is expansion. They wanted to conquer
Yeah.
other planets and
exactly.
other worlds.
Well, exactly. So by having an heir, he would have the new strong breed of super soldiers.
yeah,
So in a sense, it was kind of like I had to, and that's why in the beginning, you know, like when you see the cutscene where he sees his son playing, was it baseball?
yeah,
You're kind of like, oh, what? I don't really care about it.
yeah.
And
He
in the end,
doesn't
he's like,
care. He doesn't get it at first,
And then he's like, "Oh,
it
look."
still gets to him by the end.
yeah, it's
like-
like, oh, look, it's a son. It's my son.
Nolan is a bit of a good person. It's underneath all of this brainwashing, but he's learned to love humanity.
Yeah,
Mhm.
like I mean, yeah, you know how easy it was to like Omni-Man could dead ass just fucking like go from the top of planet Earth, go down supersonic, and just basically cut the planet in half,
going
Right.
through the
decimate everybody.
going through-
But he didn't do it because he's like, you know what? Yeah, like he even played the hero and stopping like the villains of the story, and then he went ape shit
Right.
and killed
Yeah,
the
I mean, there's a
Guardians.
whole sequence where he's still fighting with his son against this dragon type of monster,
Yeah,
right? And in that scene, it portrays him as heroic because he
Yeah.
does want to save Mark and he does want to stop this thing.
Yeah.
Although he has, ulterior
The
motives.
ulterior motives, but like
But
Oh,
he
you talk about
wants to
that like
explain.
octopus face mammoth?
Yeah,
yeah.
that thing was great. I love that. One thing that's really
eating the shit out of
cool
him.
about this whole world is it's a ton of homages to comics, to tropes of superhero worlds, right? Particularly the DC universe.
Mhm.
Kind of like it's kind of like an animated version of The Boys, basically. It's kind of like
Yeah, they'll say The
Mhm.
Boys is interested in a different aspect. I think The
Yeah.
Boys is socio-political commentary.
well, yeah, but It's more grounded.
Um,
It's more grounded
yeah,
in terms of.
but I think Invincible is really like it's about family in a world of superheroes. It's
Yeah.
about like the fallout of superheroes existing in a very cruel world.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing because like
you have to make hard choices between either family, your kid, or your purpose on why you came here in the first place.
Your genocidal purpose.
well, no, that's the thing
know.
because and like if you compare Omni-Man and
Homelander?
Homelander, like I honestly think Homelander is a villain because he's just pure psychopathic.
Yeah.
It's just like wasn't
yeah,
kill people and shit.
definitely.
So
They're
that's
very different characters. I think
yeah.
they're boiled down to often they're said to just be evil Superman. Well, that's the visual iconography that they're based on, right? But they are their own characters,
Yeah.
and they're very different.
It's just that sort of in terms of like their values for me, Omni-Man is very much redeemable, whereas like
Yeah, exactly.
Homelander is just like I'm just gonna kill everybody. 'cause I can.
Homelander is a brainwashed baby.
Yeah, he's a baby.
He's a baby, so he's just lashing out.
Mhm.
So he's a
Throwing
bit
tantrums.
of a victim,
Yeah,
but
exactly.
he will never know. Meanwhile, Omni-Man is old enough. He's incredibly old. It's because he learned these terrible things that it's a habit for him.
Yeah,
right?
So, yeah,
It
But
kind of shocked me when he said like they live for thousands of years.
that's a
It
great
shocked me.
twist. I really
Yeah.
like
Bro,
the
everybody that you know will turn to dust before you look 30. And I was like,
that
jeez.
really helps you empathize with him.
Understanding.
yeah.
You understand
You
why.
understand his motive. You
You don't
understand
agree,
why.
but you understand.
I understand why he's doing this. Like in the first episode, when he was like when he massacred the
League?
pathetic league.
Yo, I hated the
Um,
league so much. Yo, when he smacked the shit out of
That fish looked so dumb.
Yeah.
As soon as it got the hammer in the face, I was like, good riddance.
Yeah, I was crying because the way it was edited, it made a beat where it was like
And
ding, boom. And it
But
just
the thing
fucking
w-
made me laugh.
but the fish was just standing there
The
ready to
fish
take
was
it.
hilarious.
Just standing. All he does is shoot hydro pump from
I
his.
felt really
from
bad
his, like-
for the Flash guy. Yeah,
Yeah, that was horrible.
What was it? What was
That was
his
the
name?
worst one.
Warhammer lady? What was his name?
oh yeah, War Woman.
Yo, yeah. When she got her head fucking snapped, I'm like, yeah, equality, bitches. let's
Oh
go.
my god. I was surprised how
General
easy-
Zod.
General's on
remake.
that shit. General's on that shit, bro. Fucking.
Omni-Man is not Superman. He's General Zod. Because
Yeah.
I think the Immortal is the Superman.
I will find him. Hey, yo.
Yeah, there's something
I will
interesting.
find him.
My
Michael
favorite-
Shannon as Omni-Man? No, I
No.
think JK is way too good cast.
I think my favorite part of that sequence was when basically when Flash guy, what's his name, the speedster, he
Yeah.
his genius idea in fighting this dude was running around punching him like ooh, I touched you and like why didn't you just run, you know what I mean, like
Why didn't you run
Oh,
away?
one get help, bro.
the
Like
dude
this
has the power of a god and he's like yeah I'll tap him play tap
I
him
think,
real quick.
but I think they genuinely like it was hubris. They were
Yeah,
like,
no, it was
you can
definitely
take him.
hubris.
But they were genuinely making damage on the guy.
They
Like
were.
you see
They almost killed him.
you see Speedster's punch. You see Speedster's punch, and it bruised his chest. Like it's not like he did nothing.
They were
I mean, he
getting
punched
there.
him to the point that his wrist was broken.
think-
but he was still making a dent in him. You know what I'm saying?
I think the only two that stood a chance were the Speedster and the Immortal.
Yeah, well, Immortal is kind of like
That fish had no
cop-out.
chance, bro.
No, my favorite one was that
That fish was salmon barbecue.
no, my favorite one was
at
that
best.
elastic dude. What's his name?
The Martian?
Yeah, yo,
Oh, the
dude,
Martian?
Yo, he got removed. He got peeled off. He got
I was
peeled off.
surprised how
peeled off
quick
from his
he got
own-
dispatched.
He got peeled off, bro.
He
was
got
like,
destroyed. I thought he was gonna be way tougher.
yeah, he was like a Velcro strap. He just
Yeah. I
It was
way
easier
too
to
easy.
take off than a weightlifting belt.
You know
Also,
who
it was
got
pretty-
killed way too easy? Discount Batman.
Oh, what's his name?
Bro, this dude got thrown around like he was a rag.
Bro,
like he was
but
a
you know
paper
what?
towel.
When he blew his
That's
head off, I
what
was
really
like,
happens when Superman wants to kill Batman. You just
Yo,
blast-
that's true. Like you know when in the actual like is it like in the actual like Marvel not Marvel
DC.
DC universe, like DC Comics, like actually there, like you have like those confrontations between Superman and Batman. They're like what do you do exactly? Like even Superman, like he's like teasing him. He's like saying like, well, what's your superpower? What do you do,
Oh,
buddy?
you're teasing me, huh? You're teasing me. You're teasing me.
But you know the Batman in the series was not good enough. Like I thought like he'd had way more skill, but the dude like even he saw him coming through the ceiling, bro. He's
The thing
like,
is-
the guy saw you, bro. Like you
thing is-
landing towards your demise right now.
The thing is, the reason why I think Batman is its own, like is iconic, is because it's not because of his martial arts or his gadgets. It's because of his intellect and like his strategy way of going about things. Like he's not gonna he's gonna see Superman charge him like a dumbass. He's gonna be like, all right, yeah, we'll send the rest of Justice League to let them
be fodder and I'll go to the back
time,
and
and I'll create an alternative plan to sort of capture him. And then like Superman is kind of like the same thing, whereas he's morally sort of bound, I guess. And that's what sort of disassociates him from Omni-Man, is because he follows a code, whereas Omni-Man.
I think once again, the reason why that guy, I think his name is Darkwing.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah. I think the reason why he got destroyed is hubris. They probably
I thought it's funny. I don't know why. Like
he threw,
you guys might think it's messed up, but the way they just all like got annihilated.
Yo, the dumbass
dude was like a rag, boy.
He was dead instantly.
To be honest, I was
and you can see, and you can hear him too. You can hear him like,
I was siding
like,
with Omni-Man. Hey, yo, you know when Hulk tries to like do that to Loki, but then Omni-Man copies it, but forgets how strong he is. He just splats guy.
Well, there goes his intellect. It's all over the floor.
Yeah, I was like, oh, that's what happens.
Oh, and that green woman.
Oh yeah, the Green Lantern one. Yeah.
Like, what did she didn't do nothing. She died for nothing.
She tried. She had him at bay for a bit. Remember when Wonder Woman and the Immortal were talking? They were like, "It's him or us," and then Immortal says, "I choose us."
Really? She was doing something?
Yeah. She was totally distracting him for a good second.
A good second.
And then his
effort.
His palm of death just goes.
Yeah. You just.
Hey, just trying to do it for 1 second real quick, because I know you're useless as fuck. I'm gonna use you for 1 second.
I think that was the author laughing at Aquaman.
Yeah, I think so.
Because that fish got mad disrespect.
Bro, if you pause right before he gets hit, you see him just look into despair, like he knows he's done. He's finished.
Hey, yo, bro, he took the hammer and smacked the shit out of it with it, bro.
He took it like a champ. But unfortunately the hammer won. So
hey, you might say, get the fuck out of my face real quick.
He turned him into a fish cake, bro. That's just
Oh my god. Yo, hey, Thor would be proud.
Fish puree, bro. That shit went.
Oh my god, man.
Oh my. Yo, what's Yoda? Fish fillet. Here you go. Bam.
His eyeballs just fly out of his skull.
It's funny because that scene exploded on the internet. I think that scene is responsible for the show getting traction. I think so, just because of how horrid it is. And they
did that shit on the first episode on purpose. They wanted to grab everybody's attention.
Yeah, well, I don't know about you guys. Daryl, did you read the comic itself?
Some of it. I didn't read
I'm probably not as far as you. I've only read the first volume. Mm-hmm. And the Omni-Man reveal is actually way later than in the show. And what's interesting, the show is also directed by the writer of the comic. So it's basically him thinking, oh, since it's not a comic, I have to adapt this to a different format, right? An 8-episode television series. And he kept it really close to the source material. It's very faithful, I would say. And the thing...
I think he wanted to establish an image for Omni-Man for us, the audience, and then eventually have...
it's a different approach to that same story. It's the same story, but since he reveals from the first episode the Omni-Man twist, it's not the same as... Because in the comic, from what I recall, it's like at the 15th chapter that you learn about Omni-Man killing them. It's a big, what the fuck? Because it comes after over 10 chapters of just standard superheroing. right?
It's fucking hilarious, though, to be honest.
So yeah, I found that interesting.
But yeah. What do you guys think of sort of representation in terms of, because we're talking about representation of the DC world and
Right.
and Invincible. But what do you guys think about the idea of like this, a character needing to look a lot, very similar to you in order for you to be relatable or feel relatable
Right.
in terms of that
I
character?
don't have to. I don't have to.
Like for me, I know a lot of characters who are like not, I mean, like most of the characters who are in like comic books aren't fucking Asian, or even
Right.
some women. Like I love Black Panther.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like for me, it's like, hey, I
You
ain't
don't have to be black to relate to the character. You don't have to be.
That's
It
a
is-
fair argument. I've had this conversation with my girlfriend Angel.
Oh, you
yesterday.
got out you right now, cuz.
Yeah, and the thing is, she's making the case that for some people it's extremely important to see themselves represented somewhere, to have like validation that they exist,
Sure.
to have a good representation of people. Like it's a bit like if you only ever hear of your neighbor as a monster, whether or otherwise, if you do see on TV someone from another culture that you don't really know well, but that character is a cool person, right?
Yeah.
It'll make you more open. Like you said, it teaches you values, Daryl, right? That's what you said earlier. And I agree with that, like, I think representation matters in the sense that it teaches a good lesson. It's worthwhile. Like, I think I would go against the argument made that representation is useless. Like, it has a purpose.
Sure.
Is it obligatory? I don't think so. A lot of series don't have very homogenous casts.
Yeah.
And that's okay. Though I do understand the reasoning why people want to have more inclusive casts nowadays.
Well, I think the question is more the idea of like creating complex characters instead of like really one-dimensional, like stereotypical characters.
I agree with that. That there's an issue where sometimes it's called tokenism, right?
Yeah.
Where you just put an insert character like, oh, this is the black character. Oh, this is the Asian. This is the gay character, right?
Yeah.
That's why they have like backstories and
they don't have anything. They don't bring anything. It's almost as if the writer felt forced to put one in, but didn't want to write that character.
Yeah.
Or make research on that character, and just made it a bland stereotype, right? So that can become an issue where it almost becomes insulting sometimes.
Well, that's what I think for me, not to bash on any network, but
You're gonna end up bashing it anyway. Just say it.
The Arrowverse kind of like dropped like real bad when they started creating like characters that were just they were either bisexual or whatever their orientation was for the sake of just that. It's like look, representation, but there's no like actual like
forced.
Yeah, there's no cohesiveness with the story. Like there's like a lot of like like Flashpoint and kind of fucked up and created a new timeline. And then you have just the thing of Sarah that was like, oh, you shouldn't be doing that, but then she literally banged the fucking the Queen of France when she went time traveling, and they were like, yeah, you know what, it makes sense, why not? Because she's bisexual. It's kind of like, didn't you just say back like, what is it? Is it good or is it bad? What's going on?
Right. Yeah. I agree with that there's an issue with those characters seeming like the writers either don't want to be writing them, but they insert them in anyways.
Yeah.
It feels like an afterthought, rather than something woven in because they want to write about that.
Like if by creating the Black Panther film, like it sort of expanded the universe and also expanded the cultural the cultural representation. That I agree with, because it serves a plot point and it's also a great storyline. There's a story in itself and it's a great film. But if they created a Black Panther film that was just because we need black people in the film, it's kind of just like we couldn't create something more interesting about it, like create a whole world around it, or like
make it sound as interesting as the rest of them.
Yeah,
like that's
be its own thing.
Agreed. Like, yeah.
That's why I hope. I really hope that Shang-Chi ends up like really full on being its own thing, not be like, oh look, we just
because they wanted Asian people in it.
Yeah, exactly.
No, bro, I want it to have like meaning to it. I want to have like why it's there. Like I need to have a good reason why I should watch it, not just because there's
we have like
Yeah, I'm
significance.
hoping that's good. I mean, it seems interesting.
Like the what was it? I think it was Captain Marvel was kind of like a lot of people didn't like it because it was kind of just like there's certain lines are kind of like, I it's we'll let it pass because there's cool special effects, but but
I haven't
but
seen it, so I don't know.
but the film itself, to be honest, it's good. It's a good film that sort of that has its creates a story. But for me, like to compare to another Marvel film, it's very much kind of like a Thor film.
Okay, so it's in the lower end.
Yeah, it's like a first Thor film where it's kind of like just like introduce the character backstory, but like,
right.
but the thing is, I like about it is because there's elements of that world that still lingers in the current universe of the MCU that has like little splashes, sprinkles of like oh wait, this I've seen this from that movie. So I feel like they didn't just like create something just for the sake of just like
right.
that one film, So I
Yeah.
I do like that, but like
Well, without spoiling Wanda Vision too much, I know that there's a character from that that is in that,
yeah,
and I did enjoy that character.
You
But
didn't, or you did?
I've not seen the film she is from, so.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah. Oh, you did enjoy it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I like
no,
that.
that's The Wonder Vision is a perfect depiction of its theme, the depression and mourning, and ultimately trying to overcome grief. Like I really love that film, that series, because it has its own storyline, and it further goes in depth to a.
There's something behind it that people can latch on their interest in.
Yeah.
Of course.
And this goes back to our theme of television, and there's a theme in WandaVision, which is American sitcoms.
Yeah.
And how to Wanda, it's escapism, right? Like I was saying, it all ties back together, where for her, television is like a warm comfort. And it's also her method of education about American society, right?
Yeah.
Because she's not from America. So it's how she learns all this, right?
I also find interesting how the like every single episode is a different time period.
Yeah, so it tackles the whole spectrum of sitcoms.
You can see the change of like aspect ratio and even subject matter and everything. So like I find it interesting also because it brings older audiences into the new MCU as well. So it's not
so it can include a bit of everybody,
inclusive and
include as many people as
and well, since we're on the topic of representation as well, there's a lot of representation in that show, but I would say it's done well.
Yeah,
because the characters that are in that show are characters that it feels like they were included because they fit the theme and they fit what story the storytellers wanted to tell.
The funny thing I found, like because a lot of people praised Wonder Woman for it's sort of all it's blockbuster hits and like how women are represented to be strong and whatever, and then when you look at her outfit, it's just kind of hilarious where like she's in the middle of a war zone and she's like in her like little, but it's like the way
I'll defend Wonder Woman.
No, fair enough. But the thing is, the way it's depicted when you watch it, like in terms of like a superhero, it makes sense. But in terms of if you watch it as like imagine like you're on the German side and you see some fucking some chick and like with a gauntlet, a shield.
That's good. Sword. That's good, yeah.
And she's like half naked. You're like, what the fuck is going on the other side? They
Ja, we can wait before firing on this one, Ja.
It's
it's tactics, bro. Like when you have it's tactics to get your attention, bro. Because let's be real. If, for example, if Wonder Woman had her like outfit that's less less revealing, let's just say,
yeah,
people would be less attentive. People would be less interested to watch the Wonder Woman.
But I feel
I have I have a different argument to make about Wonder Woman's dress code, so to speak.
Sure.
It's fine to me. I don't mind it.
It's iconic.
Well, not only is it iconic and historically accurate for what she is capable of doing. If you were basically bulletproof, super strong, you'd want to be agile. You wouldn't want a heavy, clunky armor.
Yeah, but she ain't bulletproof. She got the fucking gauntlets to block.
Yeah. I suppose she's not.
So it would make sense to have literally the entire
armor.
But
I think what I would argue is the symbol, the icon of her costume is also about, in a sense, sexual liberation. Like openly. She's out in the open.
Yeah.
It's not about like. It's about not just sexualization, but just acknowledging women having agency in representing their sexuality. In a
Sure.
sense.
Mhm.
Like they're allowed to dress how they want to,
Sure.
and she dresses in a very,
Free
like
free
showy
manner.
way.
Yeah.
But for her, it's strength,
Yeah.
right?
It
So-
makes sense with a backstory, but like, like again, when you watch it like from a
Sure, in the real world,
the
it
real
would be
world, like
odd.
that should be hilarious. It's like like Captain America. If you see a dude and like fucking a span like in a
Explain that.
red, white,
Explain
and red
that, bro.
fucking outfit coming out with a shield, you're like, did he smoke some
Right,
fucking, some
right.
real hard crack over there? What's going on?
Explain that, bro. I mean, he's not as invincible as the other characters that can take a bullet and
Yeah.
still walk.
Right.
Bro. Like
Yeah.
that's the reason why he has a shield, you know.
But the thing is,
Yeah.
I find just like because like in the sequel, the 1984 Wonder Woman, she has this whole like outfit, and they were talking about it, how it's like part of like an ancient deity or whatever. Like if
Right.
they implemented that in the first one, it would have been so like it would make so much sense because like it he's against a god, he's against Ares and whatever, and then it would make sense. And like the sequel didn't really make sense. That's why it kind of flopped. Everything is just like, what the fuck's going on? It's just why did you make this film? Like, no, literally, it makes no sense. But anyways, the point I'm trying to make is basically like what Joss Whedon used, how Joss Whedon used the Wonder Woman in the first cut of Justice League is very much like overly sexualized, where they even make
It's not just sexualizing empowerment.
Yeah,
it's exploiting the sexuality.
like she would every time she would fall, she had her fucking legs open and shit, or like Flash falls on her, and then like just like, oh,
that was terrible. That was like in an anime. Like it was painfully unfunny
Yeah.
and uncomfortable, like in anime.
So I'm like, what the fuck's going on? Like you would never do that with Black Widow. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that was very weird.
I'd rather see Black Widow.
Well, hey,
I'd rather neither.
the new film's
You know.
coming out. The film's coming out this year, so you might have a chance. To
You
segue off,
best believe I'm gonna be there.
to segue off,
First in line, Misara, to get a
In
glimpse.
my little tent, bro.
Till
Outside,
10th.
just
Oh my god! Well, I guess to end it off, what was the last film or TV series that made you cry?
Prince of Bel-Air.
Prince of Bel-Air, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Is it the dad episode?
Yeah.
Yeah, that dropped me as well. Fuck me.
Oh,
Yeah,
It kind of like
yeah, that was
Right
a tough
here,
one.
yeah.
That was a tough one. I'm
Yeah.
not gonna lie, that was a tough one.
yeah.
What you feel?
Invincible.
Really? That made you cry? Yeah, I was
Yeah.
crying. I guess I was die laughing. So I was
I
crying.
was crying during the last
When
one.
he's ground beefed on the cliff.
I was eating popcorn, bro. I was crying, bro.
I was crying. We were crying for different reasons.
My man was pasted on the cliff. He was pasted like pastry, bro.
My dude said, hey, I could just make a new one. I was like, nah, this is a different show. This is a different type of show.
That was really different.
What's 17 more years? I could just make another one.
Yo,
That hit me different, man.
I was like, yo, this dude's a savage.
Bro, and it makes sense. The guy lives for thousands of years. What's 17 more years compared to that?
Yeah.
Yeah, it made sense. It was so hard hitting. It's so brutal what he says. It's
You know what got me laughing the most is when he replied to him. Like, he says, "I'll still have you, Dad." And as he's like, his face is split open. He can't even speak.
That was a scene. I think for me,
Yeah.
the last one.
It touched me a little bit.
Yeah, I think the last scene for me, the last film or TV show that made me cry was Your Name. When I rewatched it.
the movie.
Yeah, the movie. Yeah,
Mm.
it's really well animated. You should rewatch it. And like, I don't know. So something about that story that I found so like interesting. How like they sort of like it has a time difference aspect, like a time travel aspect. to
Yeah,
it,
it's
like-
happening at different moments in time. Yeah.
But it's very grounded in a sense where it's like it's basically a relationship between two characters that are from distant worlds.
And with one where a meteor is going to destroy.
Yeah, I'm like, yo, fucking, General Zod over here coming in with the or Transformers.
Omni-Man, he came back.
Show Omni-Man came out, boom, blew up the whole place.
Oh my gosh.
Is it gonna be episode 9 or they're gonna drop season 2?
Season 2.
Season 2. Yeah.
Season 2,
And
huh?
they announced 2 more seasons.
Did they say when? Like the
Probably next
release
year,
date?
probably next year. Next year.
Next
Yeah.
year?
Yeah.
Damn. That's
Usually it's like that.
long.
It's by year by season. Usually it's by like if it's
Yeah.
like if it's not the fall of next year, it's probably gonna be the winter next year.
Damn, I'm gonna have to wait for 22, bro, to watch this.
You can start reading it.
Oh,
You can
actually,
start reading it.
actually,
I
no,
read the comics already. Like I
Oh,
know,
you did?
I know Invincible like is gonna start fighting his dad at the end. Like I've seen the comics, but it's just like spoiler alert, you know, for anybody. But
Yo, why'd you spoil it, man? I didn't watch the film yet.
did you miss the episode while he was getting pasted on the mountain, bro?
Yeah,
he's gonna
boy.
have revenge, bro.
Yeah,
for
that
sure.
was too dark. But yeah, I think what was it? The no, actually, I scratched that. It wasn't your name. It was the Demon Slayer movie.
Oh yeah, I did.
Yo, I didn't watch that yet.
Okay,
Please,
so-
I
please don't
did
spoil
get
it.
emotional for one moment. Yeah,
that should get dark. It was fire. I like it.
I liked it. I will say the pacing could be better overall because it feels like 2/3 of it
It was slow.
I didn't like the pacing, and then the last third is really great.
Yeah,
But the
Mm.
2/3 of the movie is like
yeah.
all right to me.
Or,
But it was like that since the beginning of the show. It was slow at
Yeah, the
first.
show is also not my cup of tea in pacing wise, but I really like the mythology and all that. So.
Did you guys watch Mortal Kombat?
Yo, I
No.
watched. I didn't like the movie. It was
You don't
ass.
like
was
it? You don't like
fucking
it?
I did
shit,
not.
bro. It was
Yeah.
shit. bro.
Yo, the movie is
Shit.
fucking funny, dog. This shit is
It
so
was more
funny.
funny than it was more funny than actual Mortal Kombat. I
I'm
feel.
glad that they took the comedic route because taking it seriously would have been it was too hard since like the game is so iconic. Like it's like
Right.
But they didn't balance it right, in my opinion. They threw in like too much comedy and less of the backstories that we wanted to
Yeah,
hear
yeah,
from the Like they didn't go like what was this? They were supposed to like introduce more of the characters. Some characters I didn't recognize.
yeah.
Like they just showed up out of nowhere. Like that guy, what's his name? That covered his upper body with.
Oh yeah, he's not part of the game.
No, he's not. Like I've never
main
seen him. I don't know his name.
MC is not part of the game now. That's why a lot of people hated that fucking the film because he was like
You know who I thought it was in the beginning? I thought it was Hanzo Hasashi in the beginning. I thought it was like his descendant or something.
Oh,
Like
that would have maybe been interesting if
It would have made more sense if he was Hanzo's descendant. But it didn't make sense because like his daughter was, I think his son was killed with his wife
yeah.
in the most funniest way. Like they're like this outside of his house. Just
first time that I saw a trailer, that character, I thought he was supposed to be Johnny Cage.
no.
And I'm really
Nah.
disappointed.
No.
I didn't
Cage
think he
not-
was Cage was gonna go. He's gonna show up in the sequel.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, he's gonna show up in the sequel. Like
Oh, then I will watch
when-
that for sure.
The sequel. If there's a
'cause,
sequel.
I
If
love
there's a
Johnny
sequel.
Cage.
If there's a sequel.
but I didn't like it. I was very disappointed. It wasn't worth me like
Yo.
going out of my way and checking it out.
Bro, you got your out of the way, bro. I saw that shit on fucking. I got shit for free, bro.
yeah.
I watched the shit a reaction. We got it for free. I was at home, die laughing before game D&D, bro. That shit's hilarious. Yo, Kano is my favorite character, but the guy's a legend, man.
Bro, Kano got whooped.
I know.
And
That's the thing. That's what fucking made me laugh.
He got
He was so
whooped,
fucking-
bro.
Yeah.
And his superpower is him shooting.
Yeah. Laser
Like
beams.
him discovering his inner strength is him like discovering that he could shoot as a laser
Laser
out of
beam.
his eye. It's whack as shit.
But what was it? I think for me, like the best adaptation ever of an anime or a game or whatever you fucking want to call it is Dragon Ball Evolution. Speak on it, bitch. Woo!
Yep.
We out here.
Yep.
best one. If
Respect.
Misara agrees, let's go.
Respect.
Are you
Respect.
serious?
Respect, bro.
Are you serious?
Yo,
Of
easy,
course.
man.
You talk about like the movie you don't even understand. You don't even understand half the plot twist. It just happens. Like just look at the desert scene.
Hey, it's the best
Just-
fucking
you just-
film ever, bro.
It made no sense. Why are you in the middle of the desert, bro? That's
whole-
not where Raiden is.
Yo. No, I'm talking
Bro.
about Dragon Ball
Feels like a
Evolution.
fever dream.
Dragon Ball Evolution, the film with Goku and all them.
Yeah.
bro.
How do you feel about the casting for Goku? Actually,
Oh, yeah. To be honest, at this
I
point,
find it all right, bro. I
I-
find it all right.
the white,
you
the
know,
white
It
boy.
was okay. Yeah,
I don't
it was
really
okay.
care if he's white or not because he's an alien, right? But
Yeah, I love
I
Ozaru,
do
bro.
think that maybe would have been more respectful.
Yeah,
It's great.
Ozaru is a legend. Ozaru the fucking monkey's a legend. Well casted.
The
Yo,
guy
he-
that got for Piccolo was
Yo, Piccolo, kill me, bro.
the makeup was really weird.
My boy came in looking like fucking Shenron, bro. He looks like one of them like Vader friends. He looks like one of the Empire's like elite force.
It looks like one of those
Yeah.
random guys in the bar sequence in Star Wars. You know,
Yeah. Or like in the Guardians.
Those
Like
deformed motherfuckers.
it looks like one of those dudes from like the Chronicles of Riddick or some shit.
Yeah.
Oh, yo, I guess we can edit that there.
You know what's funnier, bro? Is like they actually came up with the name Piccolos because the motherfucker actually shaped like a fucking pickle. I keep saying it because it's funny, bro.
Yo, I'm so
Every character in Dragon Ball is named after foods.
I actually want to see a Dragon Ball adaptation of Frieza. That'd be hilarious.
Oh,
It's gonna be hard to pull off, bro.
It's gonna be like Mr. Freeze from that Batman movie.
I think I'd rather see the Cell.
You want that ice? Arnie should play Frieza, bro.
Oh my gosh.
You have been terminated.
Oh my gosh. No, I don't know, man. We have to think about our dream casting choices for a
For
Dragon
Goku?
Ball movie.
For Goku?
For everyone.
For me, probably Goku is probably the what the fuck is his name? The guy who plays Shang-Chi. Oh no. The guy who's from Crazy Rich Asian. The Asian guy.
His
The
name.
MC of Crazy Rich Asian.
Oh, okay.
Big dude. Like he's like
Right.
and Donnie Yen should play was it not Donnie Yen. Jet Li should play Master. Was it Roshi? His name is
Ooh.
because he's kind of short and he has like old he's kind of like a monk.
Yeah, the beard. Yeah, he pulled off the glasses and the beard. Yeah,
Yeah.
he pulled that off.
And then The Rock should play Piccolo. Let's go.
What?
The Rock should play Piccolo. Let's go.
The Rock?
If you smell, whoa, Piccolo,
Bro,
is
could
cooking.
you imagine
The
the
Rock
dude
is
with his
really going to
turban?
be
Like,
Rocky.
yo, seeing Dwayne the Rock Johnson with a turban is gonna kill me,
Yeah,
bro.
but he's bald, so it makes sense.
No, he's Nappa. He's Nappa.
Oh yeah, no.
He's clearly Nappa.
Or he could play Super Boo.
Danny DeVito is Vegeta.
Oh, Kakarot.
Kakarot.
Nah, he wouldn't pull off Super Boo, bro. He won't pull that off, bro. You gotta be fucking,
Nah.
gotta be pink for that shit, bro.
Nah.
Paint him pink, fuck.
What's his name? Michael Fassbender would be a cool Vegeta.
Ooh. Fastbender, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, we should have what's his name? Well, are we sticking to the same ethnicity or we could change it?
It doesn't matter.
I'm
Up to
guessing we
you.
are.
Oh, it doesn't
You have
matter.
to make a
guessing we are.
pick. You have to
They're
choose.
all
What,
aliens anyway, bro.
I want what's it? Lupita Nyong'o to play Bulma.
yeah. That's
Who is that?
Nakia from Black Panther or
the main female lead in
the
Black
main
Panther.
female league of
Oh, she play who?
Bulma, like the badass Goku's wife.
No.
Is it
Goku's
Goku's
wife
Oh,
is Chi-Chi.
Chi-Chi, sorry. Bulma is the other one. Is
Bulma
the blondie.
OG who gets with Vegeta.
Oh, it's Vegeta. Yeah, it's one of them. One of the Saiyans.
If this were
I don't see it, bro. I don't see it.
Yo,
In
she's so
this
badass,
one,
bro. She pull up with a gun and shit, fuck beat the shit out of half the people, bro. Crazy.
That's true, but I don't see it though. I don't see it.
okay.
Robert Downey Jr. as the Beerus.
Yes. No, Robert Downey Jr. as Whis. What are you talking
Oh
about?
yeah, actually, yeah, that could work.
Lord Pierce, bro. Oh shit.
Have
Um, And Steve Buscemi as Beerus.
That's Beerus, yeah. Oh, or what's his name? The headman. What's his name? Fuck. Goldblum.
Jeff Goldblum.
Yeah, Goldblum as
You'd
Beerus.
be excellent as Whis, actually.
Yeah, could work.
You'd be excellent as any of them, man.
But yeah, so I guess I guess we'll leave it up to the audience as to who was the ideal cast of Dragon Ball, and also leave us your thoughts on what do you think about representation on TV shows and films and whatnot. And the next episode will be an interesting one. We'll have a special guest and we'll talk about the current, I guess, conflict or rather, what's a better word for it?
No, I think conflict is a good.
Yeah, I guess
the conflict that escalated the quickest in the span amount of time.
Between Palestine and Israel. So yeah, that's gonna be an interesting fucking podcast to make.
Boy.
Jesus Christ, we're gonna have a lot of interesting comments.
Can of worms.
Yo, motherfuckers just start DMing us after shit. Hey, yo, bro, you're not my friend no more.
I posted once and I got 3 DMs.
But anyways, we'll leave it to that episode, and till next time, I guess. I'm Daryl,
And I'm Phil.
Sarah.
and
Peace.
we'll see y'all next Friday. We're posting on Fridays now, fool. So check that shit on Fridays.
Yeah.
See y'all. Peace.